All right, and we're live. Welcome
All
back to
right.
Indie Music Ish.
Oh, it's okay. I just did exactly that the other day when I was guesting on someone's it was a live stream just like this.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, "What's up, everyone?" Oh, shoot. I almost like got the words mixed up. Ah, terrible. It's like, come on, brain. This is your moment. No, it's all
Yeah.
good.
It's live. We're live. It's live. Welcome back to Indie Music Issues. My name is Björk from Benedictson. I am the CEO of Audio Issues and author of Step by Step Mixing and You Get What You Give. And I'm here to help you confidently finish your mixes so you can be proud to release your records. Today, we're going to talk about some mindset stuff, and I'm here with Ryan, as always. What's up, Ryan?
What is up? Once again, I'm Ryan from the Indie Music Academy, the channel on YouTube where we uncover the mysteries of the music industry, learn how to grow a larger fan base, and earn an income from our music. And we've been doing this live stream every Tuesday for the past, what is this, the 8th Tuesday now? And we told ourselves that we would do this for 10 live streams, kind of like a limited series, kind of like some of my favorite limited series. Band of Brothers, it's good when it's contained, but we're thinking of extending it, but only if you want to. So why don't you just drop a hello in the comments, let us know that you're here, that you appreciate this. This is your time. We want to spend time with you live so that we can interact with your questions. And so we do have a great training planned for you on mindsets, which are some of the most powerful things that you can focus on as an indie musician and as an entrepreneur, as we all are as musicians. And and we will do questions at the end and throughout as well. So go ahead, drop hello in the chat. We love to see your names up, to get to know you better, to just know who's here with us. And before we begin, we do have some special stuff going on. So I have a workshop. If you want to learn more about music marketing, if you want to actually take control of your releases and not just kind of wing the whole music marketing side of your career, I have a great guide. It's 3 free videos, links in the description. And then Björkfinn has something for you too.
Yeah, I can. You can go to mixfinisher.com and get my 7-step mix translation cheat sheet and a bunch of other stuff there that you can download that helps you make your mixes translate and sound good on every speaker. So if you're struggling with EQ, compression, getting your mixes to sound like, the records that you like the sound of, go to mixfinisher.com and start making better music.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we got some people rolling in. We got Emmanuel. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in live. It really helps to have you guys live. Randall says, hey guys, could always use a mindset readjustment. That's how I feel too. I feel like this is not just like a one-time fix, but it's something I'm always reminding myself on. And when Björkfinn and I were making this lesson, he reminded me of things that I probably forgot about for a year. And this is a conversation that I feel like needs to happen in a cyclical way.
Yeah.
Right. Because we get, so kind of obsessed with stuff, getting stuff done. Right. But then, are we really working on the right things? Are we thinking about things the right way? And so we have 4 super good mindsets that we're going to share with you today. A few more people rolling in. Keith, how's it going?
I just added a 5 questions that you should ask yourself every week to keep on track, and keep going, and keep making progress. So we'll get to that at the end. Yeah.
Oh, but I love that.
Do pop any questions as you listen to us. If you have any questions, want us to chat about something else at the end, do let us know so we can circle back to that or touch upon it during the show. All right. Okay, let's get started. So
let's do it.
I mentioned something. I was very vague and obscure in my email this morning, and I was talking about the three-letter word for success. It's this word that can, basically can change things from success or from failure to success. And it's actually something that I learned from Pat Flynn of the Smart Passive Income podcast. Great guy overall, super a real big giver on helping people,
Mhm.
make progress with their business, with their creativity, with their success.
Mhm.
And he talks about this when he was I think a first time father, and I'm going through a lot of first time fatherhood stuff this year. My daughter is 3 months old now, and the one thing that I have been thinking about is, as a dad, I have to be like, I'm a teacher to a lot of people, in the world now, but I think my role as a teacher to my daughter is even more important. And I think there's this word that I'm going to start making sure that I always or sort of implement, so that that becomes ingrained in her as she is learning to, learning whatever she needs to learn going throughout her life. She has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
She's only 3
Learning
months old.
everything.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
this, when you say, I can't do this, regardless of what it is, when you say, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not able to do this, or whatever, if
I'm
you
not
just
ready.
add,
Mhm.
if you just add the word yet to the end of that sentence, it changes the entire meaning of that sentence. It changes it from, I can't do this, I might as well give up, to, I can't do this yet, what can I do to improve to the extent that I need to actually be able to do this in the future. So always,
Absolutely.
if you're going to give up, don't give up yet. Try to figure out what's working, what isn't working, and then move forward. Don't just stay stagnant. And that sort of brings us to the topic of today, which is this growth versus fixed mindset. And the fixed mindset is believing that you basically, you have the skills already, and you either can or can't do something.
Right. You're
Which
always going to
is,
be as you are.
yeah, like you can't ever learn anything. And it actually bothers me when people say, like, oh, mixing is a skill that you either have it or you don't, which is complete fucking bullshit, because you learn this skill. I didn't know how to mix. A lot of my students didn't know how to mix yet, and then they learned it by going through trainings, going through practice, continuous improvement, until they have learned a skill. And it, when people say, oh, it's just you either have it or you don't, that is the fixed mindset in action, and that portrays poorly on them. That really just means that they have a fixed mindset, and you should run away from listening to people like that, because you want to be listening to people that say, oh, it's a skill that can be learned. You have it once you've learned it. And a really, really good book about the growth versus fixed mindset is the book, Mindset, by Carol S. Dweck. I'm going to post it here in the chat. And it's really, really good. And it talks about, it's, it's written by a PhD or a doctor, but it's very, very approachable. Really, really set your mind right.
Set your mind. I love it. Yeah, and there's every variation of it. That word at the end is the key. So I'm not ready to do this yet, or I haven't learned this yet, or basically any limiting statement you can add that yet to, because it's just the truth of life. I don't know, maybe it's part of natural law, right? That everything's in motion, right? Nothing is fixed. There's unless if you're on the moon, where like a footstep will be there for 1,000,000 years, then everywhere you look, everything's always evolving, always in motion, going through its seasons. And so the fixed mindset is really where failure lives. It convinces you that you are always going to be as you are right now. And as an artist that's trying to grow a career, basically what you're doing is giving up at that moment. I'm always going to have this number of followers. I'm always going to write songs this good. My, mixes, as you said, are only going to be at this level. And if you just, acknowledge that as a lie, first of all, it's not true. That's pretty much the biggest barrier, because every successful person went through that as well. And they had to either choose to see themselves as never changing, or, and this is what caused their success, they had to choose to learn and go down the path that will make them successful. And it's just like that conversation we had a couple of weeks back about creating your own luck, right? If you have that fixed mindset, you never will be able to create your own opportunities, your own luck. In fact, people might actually repel from you because it's a mindset that is just not very hopeful in general. So I think that's fantastic. Should we jump to the next mindset, because it's a really good match?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so we just talked about growth versus fixed. Now, let's say that you've overcome this fixed mindset. You understand the power of yet. I haven't done this yet, right? I haven't learned this yet, but it will happen, right? Then the next mindset to harness and to adopt is something called the leverage mindset. And what the leverage mindset is, that you are human, right? That's true. We'll have 24 hours in a day, but if we learn things, right, and we apply things like skills, money, tools, other people, we apply help a certain way, we can actually leverage that. We can leverage money and tools to turn you into a superhuman. And that's how successful people are so successful. They're not the only one doing everything on their own. They're not just, for example, they're not just posting on social media when they could be running ads, right? Using money and creating advertisements and having employees and all of these things that businesses do is an example of leverage, right? To turn something that is, kind of like fixed in the sense of we all have 24 hours in a day, right? And transforming it into something that is potentially infinite, right? Or exponential is probably the better word. Infinite is a pretty hard claim, but so that is what leverage is. And so I want you to talk about what leverage can do to mixes, but before I'll apply that to independent artists. Okay. So if you're someone who only works on their own, right? You're like, I'm going to write all my songs on my own. I'm going to do all of my social media on my own. I'm never going to collaborate. I'm never going to, do anything. I'm never going to spend money either on ads. I'm going to try to do things the cheapest possible. I'm going to find free beats. I'm going to, basically operate on this very kind of hairstring level, not just hairstring budget, but overall that mindset. You're actually missing out on leverage. And so it might be surprising in a year or two why you haven't actually grown very much, because the people who grow fast, they use leverage. They collaborate, right? So they leverage other people's audience. Another thing that collaboration does is leveraging people's talents, right? And a lot of times, this if you're a songwriter, when two songwriters get into a room, it's not just 2 + 2, or 1 + 1 = 2, or 2 + 2 = 4, whatever your skill level is. But usually it's a multiplication, right? The two songwriters come together and an amazing product is usually the result, because there's a synergy that cannot be created any other way. And as a result, there's a song that is most likely better than what you could have written on your own. Right. And the same thing is true with money as well. If you have, money to spend, that is leverage, right? A lot of artists don't have money to spend, or at least they think they don't. But for example, let's just take your time working on social media posts, right? Posting day after day after day, week after week to crickets, right? That time is not being well spent. But if you leverage something like ads, right, that has a guaranteed exposure, right, a guaranteed impressions on the platform, right, you're either wasting a lot of time or you're spending a little bit of money and you're getting the result. So what's better at the end of the day, right? Using the leverage is better. It's more powerful.
It's crazy how much you can. I'm actually kind of on like an advertising sabbatical at the moment, because I just kind of like I need a baseline on occasion. But it is incredible how many people you can reach if you just spend $5 a day on advertising. Just spreading either your music or your services or whatnot. I mean, you can burn through it if you don't do targeting well or whatnot, but it is a multiplier on the attention or on the awareness of you to other people, because
Yeah.
you, like, let's say that your time is worth $10 an hour. It's just a tiny, it's very, very little, right? But you cannot reach as many people in half an hour as you can with $5 on advertising. Like, just, you cannot. And
Yeah.
that's sort of like just on social media in general. Like, when you post, your organic post will not be shown or will not be seen that much. But if you pay $5 to run a well-written ad for a specific call to action to a service that you offer or a song that you release or whatnot, that will go way, way further than any time that you use. And that's like a very good example of using a little bit of money to get a lot in return.
It absolutely is. Yeah. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And then actually, this is a little bit of a tangent, but if you know how much that traffic is worth, right? $5 gets me this, right? Then you can know whether or not your social posting is valuable or not. Right. So if you post and you get 2 likes or whatever it is, or you upload to YouTube and you get 14 plays, right? It's like, man, that was a lot of work editing that video for just 14 plays or whatever it might be.
Right.
Or the flip side of that is, if you understand SEO and you know how to rank in the search engines, that stuff I teach at the academy, and you do get 3,000-4,000 views on a video, or even in the tens of thousands after a few months, because once you rank, you're always going to get views on autopilot. Then you can reverse engineer and say, wow, that work editing that video and creating that content and ranking at the top of the search results was equal to $300 of ad spend. So now you're seeing the value of the traffic, and you can't really understand that until you actually do spend a little bit of money on ads. It doesn't have to be a lot. And then you have kind of an understanding of, okay, how much does it cost to reach a person, right? We're all trying to reach people, right? We're trying to grow our fan base, our audiences, we're trying to find clients. If you're a mixing, mastering engineer, producer, right? How am I going to reach people, and how much do I have to spend, either time or money, right, to achieve that? And so that was a total tangent, but you, Griffin, reminded me of that relationship between content creation, time, right? Yeah. And then ads, exposure, right? And a lot of the times almost every time, it doesn't all exist in the organic territory. And it's very frustrating to make a lot of content that doesn't get found. And so I just wanted to speak to that, because it's a struggle I feel like we're all battling. It's like, I'm spending all this time creating content, posting on TikTok, making videos, YouTube videos, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the traffic part is usually the problem, finding people to view our stuff.
Right. And you've probably, if some hypothetical person has, artist or mixing engineer, whatever, has created organic content in the past that maybe hasn't, is good, but hasn't been shown. Like, I have 10 years worth of content on my website. I reuse and repurpose that all the time. Send out, the people that read my compression article like 5 years ago are not the same people that I'm sending it to today. So like, reusing the content you create as ads, as content that gets exposure, you could repackage. Like, most of step-by-step mixing can be found in bits and pieces scattered around the website in some way. But then I took all that content together and wrote a book around it, made a cohesive book that has helped a lot of people. But it's, you create content and you find a way to leverage it, and you make sure that, even if you create something that doesn't work now, you can still use it later if you think that it is really valuable. You maybe change the positioning, you change the copy around it, you add a different hook to like the reason why people should watch it or click on the link or whatnot. And it's, it goes, kind of similar to how there's lots of songs that flopped when they initially came out, and then they got re-released maybe by a different artist or just re-release or picked up by a label. Like I'm talking about, like, one of the examples I mentioned is there. I can't remember. There was some song in the 60s or 70s where it completely bombed when it came out, and then 2 years later it was re-released on a different label or something like that, and it became like a #1 hit.
Tons of stories like that. Yeah.
So like, even if the stuff that you're doing isn't necessarily like getting the eyeballs that you think it deserves, I think having created it is valuable in and of itself, because you can use that later as leverage once you have created an audience, or once you have money to maybe spread the word a little bit farther. So keep that in mind. Awesome. David asked, when you say musician, does that include lyricist? I guess I'm a fixed mind to flow well. Yes, I would say a lyricist is a musician in a way. I think that they're definitely, like, they fit the bill. I would, I mean, Elton John wouldn't be anywhere without Bernie Taupin, and he is the lyricist. I would include him in the musical duo of the Elton John collaboration, and I think that, and we can talk about, like, I like talking about the umbrella term of the creative, because the creative, because I kind of feel sometimes a little bit too pigeonholed into the music and audio industry, when a lot of the stuff that I know works for creatives of any type, photographers, designers, bloggers, writers, authors, and entrepreneurs in general. So I think that you are very much a musician, and you are also definitely a creative, David. So
I love that umbrella term. Yeah, it's all true. It's all true. And even the marketing stuff that we talk about, we apply it to producers and mix engineers and artists, but it works for businesses. It works for anything, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So awesome. Let's move to the next one.
Yeah.
Learning versus doing. When I was in college, I went to Cal Poly. The slogan was "Learn by doing," and that was
Dewey. Isn't that Dewey's? What's his name? There's like a sociologist that like coined that term. Anyway.
Yeah, it was probably stolen, but that's that's what they say at orientation. Here, we learn by doing. It's basically kind of, I don't know, like marketing how good their classes are going to be.
Right.
It was a great school. So the opposite of that mentality is only just learning, right? It's that course collector mentality, always staying in that learning mindset and never actually doing anything, right? Because if you keep collecting and you keep learning, what you're really saying to yourself is, I'm not ready to act. I need to check this box off, or I need my followers to be at this level before I release that song, or I need to meet this person. Yeah. It's totally limiting you, because you keep, I guess you keep dangling the carrot just a little bit out of reach. As soon as I learn this, as soon as I buy this, as soon as I understand this, right? That is a very limiting mindset, because a lot of the time you don't really learn. This is a Jeff Walker. You don't learn until you launch, right? Yeah. Or you don't learn until you release that song. You don't learn until you actually do it. Learn by doing. One thing I learned in college is learn by doing. Right. And so that course collector mentality is very dangerous. But I just want to make it clear, learning is not bad. It's learning without the doing. It's without the implementation.
Not applying what you learn, kind of like, it makes you, I mean, like, you could be super smart, and if you get paid just for being smart and talking to people, like, all the power to you. Like, tell me how you did it. But like, you want to take what you learn and apply it. So like, for instance, like step-by-step mixing, like if you follow the book and just apply everything in it to like your next mix, like I guarantee that it will sound better than your previous mix. And like, I don't know how many books that I've read where I just go, okay, they tell you what to do. It's like you're basically buying mentors for $10 a pop.
Yeah.
They're sharing like thousands of dollars worth of information with you, and what do you do with it? Nothing. Like that. Yeah. It's incredibly like kind of sad to think about how many people just like read the book, put it away, like put Netflix on, or like have a beer. I mean, like I've been guilty of all those things, but when you actually want to get somewhere, want to get to a certain point, you go find a mentor that has done it. Buy their book because it's $10. Invest $10 in yourself. Read it, apply it, and I almost guarantee that you will either learn what you wanted to learn, and you're closer to achieving what you wanted to achieve, or you will either get there, or you will know where you're at. You're always going to be at least a little bit ahead, and you have a better understanding of where you're going and what you need to learn next in order to get closer.
Yeah, it's so great that you took the time to write that book. And I told you this last week, but that book that you recommended me, when I started reading it, I didn't finish. I'm not a book finisher, but I think that's okay because I do it with this mindset. I read to a point where I'm like, I need to actually do that now. I'm going to stop on chapter 3 because there's like 3 chapters of stuff I need to do. You should see the books too. I write in them. And so it's great that you got all of that stuff down in your book because like you said, for $10, it's a wealth of information if you consume it the right way, right? A lot of people, they read, I mean, I do this too, and my eyes will just go and I'm like 3 pages and I'm like, what the heck did I even just read? Right. Like, what did I just learn? But when I have a pencil in my hand, and I'm underlining and I'm actually digesting the book, then I find I don't finish books because I'm, making lists of things that I need to do. And then I have to put the book down, which is kind of weird because everyone's like, oh, I finished 3 books. That's a pretty big entrepreneur thing to say. Is like, I read 7 books a week. And like, if you can do that, then that's amazing. And, but the way that I am, and I'm just saying this because maybe you feel this way too, I cannot really finish a book that fast, but I feel that I'm still getting the value by making the list, by extracting the knowledge, by taking that $10 investment and extracting $1,000 worth of actionable information and steps. So that's the commercial for books in general.
Yeah. Read more, I guess.
It's such a good way to learn.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right. Oh, really quick before we go to the next mindset, we are live. We always get that question at least once a week. So we are looking at the chat. So drop in your questions. We will do a Q&A at the end. We do love to go off topic. So you can throw in any question that you want. But of course, the more specificity and the more on topic, the more we can just jump in. So definitely, if you're just tuning in as well, say hi. We love seeing your names. We love knowing who is on so we can get to know you better, to build this relationship. We're doing this for you. So this is your time just to ask whatever you want and to benefit from Björkfinn and I. And we just have a heart for helping, and we want to help you any way that we can. So that's your invitation to join in while we're live. And if you're watching the replay, come on live. We're doing this next week, one more time at least. We wanted to do a limited series of 10 of these, just like Band of Brothers, one of my favorite shows. And we're going to decide whether or not to reboot this later, maybe in the summer. But let us know. We want to know if this was worthwhile. Please go back and watch the other live streams. They are all like this, with fantastic lessons, fantastic information, and great questions from you guys. And so if you missed any of the past live streams, definitely go back. I know it's on my YouTube channel, Indie Music Academy. The recordings are on Björkfinn's YouTube channel, Audio Issues, and it's also on Facebook as well. So with that, let's dive in to our final mindset. Well, actually, final mindset, and then
I got
extra tips, bonus tips. Yeah.
So, the ROI mindset is, whatever you're doing, be thinking about like, how is this going to return on investment or return on effort? Like, people, one of like, so how I think about things is like, okay, if I'm going to invest $200 in this thing, let's say it's a course or it's a tool like StreamYard, what we're using to stream, like there's a monthly fee for it.
Yeah.
But I think there's an ROI in the content that we can create with it, the engagement that we can do with the audience. And I'm sure that like enough people buy either my book or subscribe to the email list, join one of my courses, or join one of Ryan's courses for the investment to be worthwhile. Because that's how I think of it. It's like, am I going to spend, if I'm going to spend $30 a month on something, is it going to make me $30 or more back? And one of the things, and this is something that people don't necessarily always like factor in, they think, oh, it's $100 price tag, that's too much. That's kind of like you're kind of stopping yourself short in your thinking, because you want to be thinking, okay, it's $100. Okay, let's say it's a course, right? It's $100. If I take everything that's that is taught in the course and I apply it, am I going to make $100 or more back in value or actual return on investment when it comes with money, for instance? Like, I don't know how many times I've taken online business courses. Like the average price for an online business course, like a full online business course, is $3,000. And I have enrolled in at least 2 flagship ones, and then 3 or 4 or more sort of specific on specific business topics or online business topics or online marketing topics. And I don't think, oh, $3,000, that's too much. I think, okay, am I going to be able to make this money back if I apply everything that's in this course? And if the answer is yes, it's actually free. Because if I actually apply everything and then that comes back in some way, I've made a return on investment, and I'm back to where I was before I bought the course monetarily, but with the knowledge and the course and maybe an additional return on investment. So like when people think that, oh, I can't buy a $200 business course, I want to ask you, do you really think that you're going to make less than $200 in your business? Like, I want to make thousands of dollars in my business. I want to earn a living wage. I want to earn like a livable income. And if I don't know something and I know that this person knows something and that's going to help me earn more than the price tag of the course, it's a no-brainer to get it, because that's just how my mind works. I think of it, and I always think of as return on investment, return on effort. Is it going to make me better off in the long run if I spend this money ahead of time?
Absolutely. Yeah. And to continue your thought, some of the best courses that I've ever bought were kind of like very narrow. Like they don't promise like the full spectrum. They're very specific. It's like, fix this one problem, $100. And I'm like, well, actually, that's pretty good, because if I, call a plumber out to like fix a leaky pipe, that's going to be like $180. But that pipe's not going to earn me thousands over the next few years and months.
Right.
So yeah, I've dropped $100 at a time fixing these like little problems.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what we talked about, I think 3 weeks ago, where time and money are on the same spectrum, right? So do I want to spend 8 to 10 hours figuring out this issue on my own, maybe never figuring it out because there's a lot of bad information on YouTube and, on forums, like literally bad advice? Or should I put my trust into someone who I believe has the answer and is put it out there on a silver platter, and in exchange for their effort and making it accessible, palatable, probably great teaching skills, maybe it's all organized very clearly where I could consume it in a half hour. And actually that's what it was. I got into this particular program and there was like 2 videos. I was like, oh, that's pretty expensive for 2 videos. And I went through the videos. They were each 15 minutes. I was like, this changes a lot for me. So, so it's definitely, it's crazy.
That's so interesting too, because like, that's actually super valuable. Like it doesn't have to be longer.
Longer
like,
is bad sometimes.
yeah, because you're like, all right, like just give me the cliff notes so I can like go apply stuff.
Yeah.
That's sometimes super valuable. Like I'd rather spend $100 on a course that takes me 30 minutes to learn what I need to know that gives
Hmm.
me a return
Hmm.
than $50 on a course that takes me 4 hours to complete. Because like
Yeah.
I can make the money back, I can't get the time back.
Mm,
Like
that's right.
I'd rather take the course and fix the problem in the time that it takes me to, like in the same time than spending less money and then taking the course and I still have to fix the problem, you know.
Yeah. Randall actually has a really great question that is related to this topic. He said, "How much is your time worth? How much time will you waste not paying for the knowledge you might obtain?" And that's a really great question. I kind of categorize it into two things. It's stuff that only I can do. That's one
Yep.
category. And then there's stuff that I can outsource, right? Outsourcing would be things like video editing, all the stuff that, there are experts out there. And then buying a course is actually an example of outsourcing, right? You're outsourcing into someone else's knowledge, into someone else's brain,
Yeah.
right? And so your question, how much is your time worth where you are willing to waste, right? Not paying for the knowledge. Well, I would say that I'm only willing to waste that if only I can do that. So that's the stuff, for example, in my business, the Indie Music Academy, a lot of that stuff has to do with actually creating the marketing plans, actually creating the insights, right, from the latest music industry trends and packaging it up in the way that only I can, right? So a lot of that is on the content side, right? Only I can create, a YouTube video with me in it, right? Or only I can, do these certain things. Only I can interact with my community members. Only I can do the one-on-one coaching. So then that other category, it's very wide open in comparison, right? So if I, need editing done, that's probably the most applicable example to me. I've outsourced that a bunch of times, and then I'll just do the finishing touches, right? The things only I can do, right? So if I have like a special definition that I wrote that I need to add to the video, or if there's anything that only I can do, then I will spend the time, right? And so a lot of times, finding the right person, actually for music, this is a great example too. Finding the right producer for your song. Great example of outsourcing. So when I released my song, it's called Taking Over Me. You can listen to it on Spotify if you want. But I was like, there's a sound that I'm going for that I could do. I could watch a bunch of tutorials to try to be in this sound. It's not really what I usually do, but I want to write a song in this style and release a song in this style. So like I had the choice. I could either spend like 4 or 5 hours on YouTube getting started, right? This doesn't even count the repetition that's involved with being a great producer, right? So I could spend 4 or 5, 6 hours getting started, trying to do it myself. Maybe I have the right plugins, maybe I have to buy a few synths or whatever it is to write in this certain style. Or I can go on SoundBetter and hire someone that'll knock it out for me.
Yeah.
And so what I chose was the second one. So I hired a producer on SoundBetter to co-produce the song, because I still did a lot. I still did the things that only I can do, right? I played the guitar, I did stuff that was within my style, but I wanted to implement something that was not something only I can do, right? I could outsource that.
Right.
And so that's how I would answer your question, Randall. It's not really how much time am I just willing to spend, because if you really think about it, we can fill up our time pretty easily with stuff, right? And so I think that's a better, a better way to separate out the two. Is this something only I can do?
Right.
Where it's literally impossible to find someone to either help or do it for you or not.
And I think we talked about this on another stream, is like I did this a while ago, is I took down all the tasks that I do in a given week, 30 tasks. I wrote down 30 tasks that these are all the things that I do all the time. And then I wanted to make a separate list out of that list that's like, okay, out of these things, what are the things that only I can do? And I could only come up with like 5 or 7. So, which meant that I was wasting my time on like 22 tasks that I could outsource to somebody else. And it is super valuable to understand when you are not the right person for the job, and when you know that you can basically multiply yourself and get the skills that you don't have by just spending a little bit of money. Like my team is me, is I have a video editor. Jessica makes my videos when I do my courses and some of the YouTube videos, but now we just do everything live, which is great. So don't need that. I have a book editor. He edits all my books. A longtime collaborator. We've worked on, I think, 7 or 8 books now together. And the reason I hire him is because it's very lonely to write everything, and then you're too attached to it, so you don't know, like, is this good, is this all right? And then can you go through it and see like if things need rearranged or whatever. Very similar, Randall, to like how we do things at Feedback Friday in the Insiders program. Is like you bring something in once you've gotten it to like the best of your abilities, and you need a different perspective on it. So like that's when a good team comes in. Like Ed, who's sort of a volunteer coach for the Insiders community as well. He's super useful and basically better at the music production and arrangement and songwriting things than I am. And so he's really, really useful to the Insider members there. And then I have, like, I can't do any design. I mean, I'm good at Photoshop. I can do simple stuff, but like all of my designs are outsourced. And because when I realize I need to hire somebody is when I've spent an hour on a task and I've gotten nowhere. If I'm like, okay, like, let's see how long this takes. Let's see if I can, knock this out. And if I am like nowhere close, if I'm still on square one after an hour, I'll go and figure out how to find somebody else to do it.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I want to talk about something that I share in a way. It's one of the worksheets from the You Get What You Give book. And it's something that I do every week with a special mastermind group that I'm a part of. We meet every Friday morning at 6 a.m. my time, which is always fun.
Dedication.
Yeah. It's 8 a.m. Central Time in Nashville, so that's easy for them. But some of us are, Oh, all right. Nice shirt. So, and this is basically what we talk about. We call it happy crappy, which is like, what's happy and what's crappy about the week that passed, right? But and I came up with some questions that might be more helpful for people that like don't do this like off the cuff as easily. And if you answer these questions, you can do this by yourself. You can create a mastermind group. Maybe we should create a mastermind group, Ryan. Yeah. That'd be fun. Let us know if you wanna join us on
the chat.
Huh?
Type 1 in the chat.
Yeah, type 1 in the chat. Anyway, so like if you can answer these by yourself, or if you want an accountability group of some sort, you can put that together or find one. But if you just answer these questions, it helps you sort of reflect on what's going on, and then it helps you sort of focus where you're going. And it's what worked. And so like take the time frame. I like to do this weekly because a week is sort of like a nice contained time that you can reflect on. If it's a month, you kind of can't remember everything that you do in a month. So it's what worked in the last week. What did I get done? What am I proud of? What didn't get done? And what did not work? What was like quote unquote failure? And what did I learn from it? And then what's the priority for next week? And then what can I do less of? Which is a good question too. It's like, what do I do? What is taking up my time that I should be doing less of, and it's kind of getting in the way of me actually being able to do what I think I should be doing, and it's kind of hindering me from my growth in a way. So awesome. those questions, what worked, what didn't work, what did I get done, which means that like you sort of like see your tasks and your to-do list, and you sort of like understand like, okay, this was a productive week or this was not a productive week. What am I proud of? You should always like, take the time to actually like pat yourself on the fucking back every once in a while and sort of like feel like, okay, like I did do something. I am proud of this, even if it's a small thing, what didn't get done, and what's the priority for next week, and what can I do less of? So those questions. Are you writing those down?
Yeah, I'm about to drop it in the chat.
All right. Sweet. Nice. Yeah, so that's sort of the end of our mindset rant, I guess.
Damn.
Yeah. So
I love how it didn't space that out normally. So copy paste that on a separate document.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. Right. So anybody have any questions? We'd love to take a couple minutes to answer any questions or riff on a topic that you want to talk about.
Yeah. Drop those in. We'll let them stack up. I did see one that came in earlier. Let's see, maybe two. Let me scroll all the way back. Menno says, first time watcher, thanks for putting this on. Oh, you got it. There's a lot to catch up on. I think this is episode 8, right? Or 9. This is 9. Yeah, this is 9. Wow. That's a lot of content.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, here it is. Lit Rap is asking, I want to know, Ditto or CD Baby? This is my favorite question I've ever been asked, actually, because so much is riding on this. So much. So the thing that I always suggest first is, am I okay with how I have to pay these guys, right? So look at the payment structure. CD Baby is a one-time payment, lifelong distribution. That sounds pretty good to me. 15, I think 14% cut of your royalties. Google that. I'm not sure if I have that memorized correctly, but one-time payment, lifetime distribution, cut of royalties. Okay, that's CD Baby. What I would ask first is Ditto better for me? How do I have to pay Ditto? What's Ditto's cut? What can Ditto offer? Because each distributor has kind of like a la carte services that you can buy. So if you're interested in that, I know Ditto has a ton of those, like marketing packages, stuff. I've never used any of them, can't vouch, but that's what I would ask first. And then I think it's probably that order. How do I want to pay these guys? How do they pay me back? And is there anything that they have for me that I might use? And then come up with the custom decision that's perfect for you. That's what I would do. All right. Okay, I think what I'm going to say is last call for questions. We do like to keep these things under an hour, so I think we're perfect on time. But we do want to make sure we tackle anything that you're struggling with this week. It could be related to what we just talked about. It could be completely off topic. We like going off topic.
Yeah.
And I think in 2 minutes we will sign off, but just want to make sure that we allow the space for you guys to type.
Yeah, let's
want to ask.
What let's tease next week. What are we talking about next week?
Yeah, okay, let's see. Let's go to our master doc. Oh, we have a lot of good stuff in the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think something that has come up in the chat over the last few weeks a lot is the question of how to build relationships. That's on our list if you want to make that one next week. It's like psychology and relationships and, red flags and understanding what the other person wants and finding a win-win situation, because that's really what networking is. It's making sure that you rise up together and also making sure that you're working with people you really like, building real friendships. Right. So I think we should tackle that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only is it the relationships when it comes to partnerships and careers and stuff like that, also can be very applicable to finding clients and finding customers, understanding that that'll be a great topic. Is that going to be our last episode for now?
Yes, right. Indeed. And let me mark that so we can fulfill our promise next week.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, we have now 9 episodes just like this. So if you enjoyed this, go check out the past episodes. We're doing kind of like a limited HBO series here, 10 episodes. So we're going to be back next week here on YouTube and Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. And we appreciate you. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for everyone who tuned in live. It makes it so much fun for us to interact with you in real time and just to have an awesome conversation about mindsets and about things that are going to help all of us just execute better in our music careers. Before you go, check out the free marketing workshop in the description. There's 3 free videos for you that cover marketing mindsets just like this. Also, marketing principles, not just tips, but principles that will work in any genre, any type of music career that you want, whether you want to become a producer or a performing artist. They're mindsets that transcend the details. They're solid principles that work for any business, including music business. So definitely check that out. And then Björkfinn has something amazing for you as well.
Yeah, so you can, if you're not on the email list and want to know more about Audio Issues, the best starting point is just going to mixfinisher.com, downloading my 7-step mix translation cheat sheet. Comes with some links to some popular blog posts that have been useful for people throughout the history of Audio Issues. If you want to dive straight into the book, you can get it on Amazon at stepbystepmixing.com or also as an ebook through my site. I am actually working on a special secret plan, not so secret anymore, and trying to bypass Amazon and offer the paperback to at a discount sometime in the future, that's so that you can buy it straight through the website and I'll ship it to you directly. And so you don't have to use Amazon, and we can leave the big gorilla alone. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, just go to mixfinisher.com, download your cheat sheet there. Check out the You Get What You Give. It's my sort of novella about succeeding in the music business, understanding your customer and creating relationships, getting clients, healthy habits on how to succeed, and those sorts of things. A lot about mindset. It's a fictionalized narrative a la The Go-Giver, Built to Sell, Richest Man in Babylon, sort of a business parable. In a sense, you can get that at yougetwhatyougivebook.com. So check that out.
Fantastic. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Best of luck with your music.